Good morning and welcome back for another video. This time around, a little peek into our summer routine, which this time starts at night. You're going to get the opportunity to see the difference between what our mornings look like when I get the chance to do a nighttime reset routine, or when I prioritize it rather, because I always can. Sometimes I just choose not to, versus when I don't, and it honestly makes the biggest difference in my mood and how fast we're able to get out the door, especially if we have things to do like camps or play dates. I try to always get all of the dishes out of the sink and into the dishwasher, and I leave just enough room for the breakfast dishes so that I can just load those up after the breakfast routine and run it first thing, come home from whatever we've done to all of the dishes being done. And then I make sure the laundry has been switched over. Obviously, nothing in the wash overnight. And I just put in what's left and don't start it so that we can add our clothes into it the next day. I'm making an effort to always clear off the top of the dryer. It's become such a dumping ground for miscellaneous items and unpaired socks that just need to be put away. And I always say I'm going to do it later, but it builds up so quickly and I can see this space from the kitchen. So it's always top of mind if I don't do it. When I can get all of this done and then just tidy up the living room a little bit, make sure there are no toys out before bed, it makes all the difference in the way our next day goes, especially since I have the kids home with me so often for the summertime. I have no idea what's going on with me lately, if it's just the heat or something else. Eastern North Carolina is so hot, but I wake up in the middle of the night so dehydrated. I have to get up and drink water, and then when I wake up, I chug a whole cup of water with trace minerals too. It doesn't seem, no matter how much water I drink during the day, this still happens, which I really can't stand, and I have no idea what it could mean about my health. But to be perfectly honest, I know you guys missed a lot because I stopped making videos for almost 3 years when I decided to go back to work full time. And I really thought I was going to reclaim my life when I went back to work, that I would be able to work out and would finally eat something besides the girls' discarded chicken nuggets and peanut butter and jelly crust. But I actually gained so much weight back after my postpartum journey once I started my job, because I spent so much of the day at my desk just drilling away at my computer. Lots of convenience foods, lots of sitting, and I'm just trying to fall back in love with cooking again and have a balance of yes, sometimes we need convenience foods, but there are lots of times during the day that I could have been cooking or prepping food for later that I just wasn't. So I'm trying to get better at that, and I'm going to share with you guys a few things that I've been cooking lately from the new Wishbone Kitchen cookbook, which I absolutely love, highly recommend. Good morning. I need to do a grocery order, but a lot of the things that I'm putting on my list, I'm just I'm not really gonna trust the Instacart people to get this right. Sometimes, especially if you get a male Instacart person, it never fails that they will just be like, oh, she actually didn't need that ingredient. I'm just not even gonna try to replace it. I'm just not gonna put it in there, so that's fantastic. But last weekend, I had a friend in town and we made a bunch of recipes out of the Wishbone Kitchen cookbook. So good, so good. I will say most of the recipes in here, not easy. It's also super lobster heavy, which I understand because I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly from her saying on TikTok, that the majority of the recipes that she put together in this book were made at her family home in Nantucket, where it's a lot more easy to get fresh lobster. I don't really love lobster that much, and it's not something that's really particularly easy to get here, so that's not really what I'm interested in. So I just skipped past the lobster ones, but I'll show you what we made. Honestly, most of it was really easy. The only thing that I was not a part of was one of the pasta sauces my friend made at her house, and then she brought it, and that way it got to chill in the refrigerator for a long time, which makes it so much better. That was fantastic. It was the basil pesto that she made. Super yummy. But the first thing we made was the heirloom crab cocktail. This was so freaking good. I love crab too, so I'm a sucker for crab. There's a hot crab dip recipe in here that I'd really like to make. My husband's birthday is coming up next week, so I really want to menu plan and just make sure that we eat a ton of really yummy food all weekend long, and we kind of stretch out the celebration, because it's not really like a big birthday. It's his 31st birthday. Last year at his 30th, obviously, you know, we did like a lot more, and it was a kind of a bigger event. It was very special. Whereas I just want to kind of do something intimate, because we both had just so much going on. We need something quiet, chill. So I'd like to just cook for him all weekend and make that the big deal. But highly recommend the heirloom crab cocktail. So delicious. So of course we did a whole tablescape. We did like a Connecticut casual kind of vibe, and did the heirloom crab cocktail first, and then moved over to a Sammy course, which was, I will say, I think that this would have been better if we had shredded the steak, because I don't know if you guys can see in the cookbook, it's like just thinly sliced, and it's very rare, so super tender. But a lot of the times, like, the whole slices were just sliding out of the sandwich, and it didn't make it particularly easy to eat. So looking back on it, if I was to do it again, I would like chop and shred almost like you would a barbecue. I think that that would make this a lot easier to eat. But the sauce that we put on it, it was kind of almost like a hollandaise. Incredible, like absolutely made the sandwich. Like, that is what made it. So much so that the next day I had leftover crab, because you only use a little bit of it for the heirloom crab cocktail. I made crab cake eggs Benedict and used that instead of hollandaise, and it was so freaking good. So if you make what we made, you basically have enough to feed your crowd for like the entire weekend, because you can split it up into all the like the leftover bread I toasted for the eggs Benny. So good. And the pasta sauce made so much that we ended up making more pasta salad with it for the beach. So let's decide what needs to be on our grocery list today. I think I want to do tomatoes and corn as one of the sides, because that looks really good, and my husband loves cherry tomatoes. I love a good summer salad. You know, if you have a July birthday, like, this is what you need to have. There are also a lot of things around the house that we just really need. Like, we're out of sandwich bread, a lot of the snack stuff for the kids. We need Bisquick, because my kids have been all about waffles and pancakes for breakfast practically every single day. Lots more butter, because I use butter for entirely too much. And then my grandma is home from the hospital, but she's still really hurt, recovering, doesn't get to do a whole lot. She really likes banana pudding, so I'm gonna make her like a mini banana pudding for her to have. If you're trying to get excited about being in the kitchen again like I am, I would highly recommend the Wishbone Kitchen Cookbook. It's just brought so much joy, and I loved having friends over and my mom over in this video to just try the recipes with me. That just made it so much more special. It was a little intimidating at first, but super fun. Now I just need to knock out a couple of work calls and make sure that I get my grocery list perfected so I don't miss anything, and then we will be out of the house for a few errands and picking up the kids. Someone is having the worst problem with their car alarm. I've been having like a smidge of a week. That's an understatement, but I'm not a complainer. I'm not interested in complaining. I am only interested in walking around Michael's, touching everything, and that's exactly what I did. And I said I wasn't gonna buy anything, because I knew the reason I wanted to go is because they just put all the Halloween stuff out. Not like crazy in Halloween, but you know how it is. It's just like, it's cute. It's the nostalgia. Am I gonna buy a bunch of it? Probably not. But it's nice to just go in the store and walk around. But unfortunately, as it turns out, I did buy, because, okay, I don't like scary Halloween. I only like cutesy, tchotchke Halloween. But not in the super bright colors kind of way, in the grandma chic kind of way. And unfortunately, she delivered. Not just once, but twice. In the form of this adorable little wizard squirrel. I think it's a squirrel. But thrice. Mummy squirrel. I mean, like, how could you have walked out without these? And they were on sale for like $8 a pop for these cute little guys who are going to be on my little sideboard. It's going to take everything in me not to go put those out immediately, but my husband will be like, okay, you fully lost it. So they will go in the holiday closet until at least the end of September, I guess. It honestly drives me so crazy that we have started putting out decorations like this so early, and then all the good ones are gone long before we ever actually get into the season. But I have plenty of fall decor stowed away anyway. I don't really need any more, especially now that I have these cute new additions, but it's just nice to get out of the house without the kids for 10 minutes and touch pretty things just to decompress from a really long week. As long as the kids are not with me, you know, if I brought them into Michael's, we would have ended up spending a ton more money. After I went to the grocery store, I stopped by my mom's to pick up the girls. She had been keeping them while I was working just for a couple hours, and then I bring them home for snack and some quiet time. They really needed it. They were so exhausted. My husband has been working really late, and my mom is about to have company in town for a little while. So she offered to come have a sleepover with us. I'll be making her the baked fish, asparagus, and a little tortellini. It's just kind of a take on something that was already in the Wishbone Kitchen cookbook. And I'll save a plate for Tan for when he gets home. So there was a lot of kitchen prep to do to get all of this done. Plus, I had some work follow-up things to take care of while the kids were having their quiet time. They need it so badly. I don't know about your kids, but we have been sleeping less than ever. We go to bed later, the sun comes up earlier, and they are just go, go, go all day. They get so exhausted out in the heat, and they're getting really grumpy. I love summertime. I love being out on the boat. You know, we live on the water. That's what makes it so special, but this is the time of year where the weather starts to kind of shift from being sunny, beautiful beach days every day to like a lot of rain and heavy storms at night that make it harder for the girls to sleep. And they're 6 and 4, so no naps anymore, but we're definitely sleeping less than ever. During the summertime, they need that extra rest and that extra quiet time in their room. So I've been working really hard to try to enforce that. I really wish you could smell this. It smells so good. I haven't even done anything but butter and onions yet, so it's only gonna get better from here.
Okay.
We want it to melt down a little bit. I'll put some here.
What do I put on?
See if you can spread it.
Now
See what it does.
strawberries?
Yeah.
I'm a strawberry. You're a strawberry. Cookie. This big.
Can you imagine?
No, look how big. This big
That's
cookie.
huge.
He would get so chunky and he might even get a bellyache.
And he would be like, I know the story of how Santa Claus became Santa Claus.
Saint Nick?
Nope.
No?
He like made toys for all the kids, and they started calling him Santa Claus, and then he found magic reindeer that could fly, and then he made a sleigh, and he just became Santa Claus.
Wow, I didn't know that. How did you
didn't
know?
Either. I didn't know children were allowed to know the story. I thought only Santa helpers were allowed to know that.
Well, she's not your average child.
Or spread them around like this. Here we go.
And this is what it looks like when you abandon your usual nighttime routine to sit and gossip with your mom on the couch, which I absolutely do not regret. I needed it, but wow, waking up this morning and seeing my kitchen, it was almost like it had magically gotten worse overnight. I did not remember going to bed like with this messy of a kitchen, but it honestly didn't take me but maybe 15 to 30 minutes to get it all cleaned up, and we didn't have anywhere to be today. We had a really slow day. It's kind of crummy out, a little bit rainy, didn't have anywhere to be, so there was nothing better to do than clean And it gave us plenty of time to just take it really slow this morning, give the kids that extra rest that they so badly needed, and enjoy some cinnamon rolls. I'm sure everyone knows this, but I've made homemade cinnamon rolls, and it was so much work. And it's a huge mess in your kitchen. I mean, you just get sugar and butter and cinnamon everywhere. You have to make the dough. It's very involved. But the kind in the can are just so dry. So just so you know, in case you've never done it before, if you drizzle heavy whipping cream on top of your cinnamon rolls and nestle them really close together before you put them in the oven, you'll have the fluffiest, yummiest cinnamon rolls that are just so much better than straight out of the can, and it's no mess. I'm actually about to make some cinnamon rolls for you.
Cinnamon rolls!
Cinnamon rolls, yeah. I'll let you know when they're ready, okay? I really hope that you enjoyed the Summer Mom Routine video. I'm really enjoying making them. It's been so long since I've been making these videos, and honestly, it was great accountability for me when I did it before, just to make sure that I stayed on top of my routine. Inviting people into your home, even if it just is online, is a great way to hold yourself accountable for staying on top of your routine and doing everything that you should be doing. So I highly recommend it. If it's something that you'd like to do just to flex a creative muscle, we'd love to have you here. I'll see you guys next time.